What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from the recording. I hope you have a wonderful day. I hope you had a good weekend. I know a lot of people worked through the weekend, like myself, but it's still the weekend. And maybe today's your weekend. I remember that when I worked retail. Mondays were my weekend, but I hope nonetheless you're having a good day. It looks like some interesting news around Black Rifle Coffee Company has been floating around. Many people sent it to me. I actually spoke to their owner about it, and so I'll have kind of their feedback on it. But this is where it started. So there was an article floating around from this company called 1791 Management. Now, here's the thing. This seems to be a company that just sues people. They seem to be like a, and I'll show you, it seems to be like this is like their business model. I don't know exactly how they make money, but I looked into 1791 Management, and they filed like last week. Here's another lawsuit that they filed against a company. I think they had 3 last week. So I'm not exactly sure what their game is, but it's interesting. This says Mr. Evan Hafer, who I spoke to, by the way, chairman and CEO of Black Rifle Coffee Company, sent it to him. Dear Mr. Evan Hafer, I regrettably must communicate with you via this public forum because as of recently, it appears you've decided to cease all communications with us. The 1791 Management LLC manages certain entities that hold BRCC's company shares, their stocks of the company. Please do not confuse our stake as a vote of confidence in the company's leadership. On the contrary, in just 3 months of being a publicly held company, in our opinion, you have caused significant harm to your shareholders and military veterans. Ooh, just standing on that military to get outrage going. It is our belief that you may be one of the most dangerous CEOs in America. What's driving all of this? Well, their stock has basically collapsed. If you look at, I think they've only been public, since February? So yeah, they launched in February, right? I think they must have had an IPO at like $10 a share or something like that. And by the end of April, actually almost on my birthday, it peaked at $33 a share. And then you see it completely collapses down to lower than its original IPO. Its market cap is $1.97 billion, but it's reaching an all-time low. I think they had, it is basically an all-time low now. Why is it an all-time low? Well, you could see net income dropped by negative infinity%. Net profit margin down 96%. That's what this is about. It's about the investors feeling like, well, they're losing money, a lot of money, especially if people bought in at $30. Now, you're probably feeling pretty good if you bought in at 10 and you dumped here in April, but that's really what's driving all of this, and we're going to get into that. And if you don't remember, last year, there was a New York Times article in which the BRCC folks tried to distance themselves from Kyle, for example. They threw him under the bus, many believe. And then they just had some quotes that were not good in their New York Times interview, and they received mega backlash. If we go back to that, you see this San Antonio, of course, let me just find that archive quick. They came out and they put this article out in the New York Times. Can Black Rifle Coffee Company become the Starbucks of the right? Clearly, with their, targeting a particular group of people. This is the danger in this. You see, Black Rifle puts out a statement, CEO Evan Hafer on BRCC's company mission, a statement. They put out a statement specifically, essentially, on Kyle saying, we do not support We do not support legal advocacy efforts. We do not sponsor, nor do we have any relationship with the 17-year-old. They didn't even say his name. We believe in the integrity of the legal justice system and support law enforcement officials. We're grateful to continue to support, blah, blah, blah. Like, this was not a good statement. Now, I understand a company wanting to remain apolitical, especially if you're selling coffees, cocos, and teas. Because this is what happens, right? When you insert yourself as a company into politics, you are, by its very nature, pissing off the other half of people, which is why Coffee Brand Coffee does not have any political stances. It's just really, really good coffee. It's my coffee company. We already have 7 brews of coffee. I recommend checking out the cold brews. They're starting to ship today. The 5 brews. Look at this. I'm not even gonna link to the products. I'm just gonna link to the reviews. We now have 261, actually more than 261. 261 total reviews. Average review score is a 4.9. I told you I wasn't screwing around with this coffee. Don't take my word for it. Support a company that's apolitical, that doesn't have anything to say about current events or current thing. We're just going to try to deliver the best coffee, cocoa, and teas imaginable. Link in the description. Anyway, so then they put out this article with New York Times, and then San Antonio's Black Rifle Coffee faces backlash after denouncing certain groups of people. I think it was the wording that was particularly suspect. And to be fair, Evan, their owner and CEO, has offered to speak to me, had at several occasions offered to speak to me directly on it. He has also returned all of my calls and all of my texts like almost immediately when I ask him questions. When I asked him even about this, which obviously he knows isn't going to like play well, he answered my questions and was very open about it. So I want to give him credit for that at least. But they had many articles. Their target market was clearly right-wing people, obviously. And I just think they shouldn't have said anything. Everyone believes that. That's why, I mean, like, really, to be honest, part of the reason that Coffee Brand Coffee's mission is what it is because I learned so much doing what I do on this YouTube channel. Every time a company comes out and says something stupid and political, they piss off at least one. Imagine working so hard to get a customer. It's so hard to start a business. It's so hard to get customers. Imagine working that hard and then being like, we should make a political statement that will potentially make them leave. Like, I just don't care. Like, I want to sell beans and tea leaves and cocoa. I don't care what my customers' political opinions are. I just want them to like my coffee or my tea or my cocoa. Well, teas actually launch in just about a week. But they said, this stuff really makes me mad. I hate like Proud Boy people. Like, I'll pay them to leave my customer base. I would gladly chop all those people out of my effing customer database and pay them to get. You see, Raheem, how to destroy your company in one easy step. Give an interview to the New York Times, trashing your customers. Now, even if we give him the benefit of the doubt and say that, like, oh, he was really talking about like this super small, specific group of people, even just saying that is a bad idea because it's going to get covered. And once it's in the mainstream media, you're not getting any control on that messaging. Several conservative publications accused Black Rifle Coffee of going woke and throwing customers under the bus. Others falsely claim that the company's owners called its customers a repugnant group of people. Black Rifle did not immediately respond to a phone call requesting comment. On Tuesday, Hafer responded to criticism in a 9-minute video posted on Instagram. The 44-year-old said the New York Times and others have mischaracterized his comments. He said, Hafer said after he was clearing up the significant amount of misinformation being put out on the internet, but the company, the statements they made were perceived as derogatory towards customers and conservatives. He said his statements were taken out of context by the newspaper. Why would you ever sit down with the New York Times anyway, bro? You should have known better. Times reporter asked him to talk about certain things in America. Hafer, who is Jewish, was bombarded on social media with comments about him being Jewish last year. I don't know. I don't know if that happened or didn't happen. I don't really care about, like, imagine knowing what coffee brand coffee's religions were or races were. Like, who cares? Like, God, just buy the beans. This is like such a foolish move, you know? We were discussing purely that. Hafer, who noted that he was not conflating those people with conservatives. And he's probably right. But once you did that, it was over. Like, once that message was out there. If you look at this, too, this was published 4 days ago. And this is really the issue. Black Rifle Coffee hopes to avoid being a red state Icarus. An operating loss for the first quarter is a red flag for BRCC stock investors. Black Rifle Coffee has reported a huge loss, big loss for the first quarter. The company is growing rapidly, but came public at a bad time. Investors care more about Black Rifle delivering profit than politics. Shocking! Shocking. The company's first quarter results in May 12th tell the tale. Black Rifle lost over $62 million, $1.36 per share on revenue of $65.8 million. This compared with a profit of $149,000 a year ago. It's not very much profit, but I guess you're expanding, so you're not, like, making a ton of money. Before it came public, the loss came on sales of $48.7 million, giving the year-over-year growth of 35%, but the cost was very high. BRCC stock loss is too big. BRCC stock is now down 40% from when my story came out. This is author speaking. After an operating cash flow loss of $33 million in a quarter, Black Rifle had just $110 million in cash on the books. A second offering in May was designed to give it a longer cash runway. Some of what looks like financial problems could be accounted for by the markets. Non-operating losses came in at $240 million, mainly from earnout liability, the value of warrants and derivatives. Black Rifle only became public on February 10th. The timing was not auspicious. But there are deeper problems. Our Stavros Georgidias reported. Gross margins were down. There was an operating loss of $15.8 million, and in its first quarter loss rate, Black Rifle doesn't even have enough cash to last one more year. Losses also attract lawyers. Black Rifle has been hit by a breach of contract suit from an investment firm that couldn't exercise its warrants. The second offering this month drew a lawsuit charging it let insiders get out while keeping public shareholders in. Shares dropped over 20% on the offering. This is back on May 5th. On behalf of investors, Hittleman Strunk continues its investigation of Black Rifle Coffee's potential deception of public shareholders. Effective May 5th, insiders on Black Rifle Coffee can sell stock just 1 day after terminating the public's right to exercise and sell the very same stock. It says, now again, this is a press release from, I think probably the same company. This says, if you purchase Black Rifle Coffee stock, you may be entitled to compensation without payment for any out-of-pocket fees, costs, and contingent. So this is just fishing for a class action lawsuit is what this is. But the company doesn't have enough money, according to the investors, to last another year. Well, if you want to make sure someone's around to give you your beans when you need them, make sure to follow the link in the description. Coffee Brand Coffee. We've got 5 roasts of traditional caffeinated coffee, a decaf, a cold brew, multi-packs. If you're not a coffee person, you can try that out. Figure out which one you like. Mugs, t-shirts, grinders, everything you could possibly need. And just check out the reviews. If you received yours, by the way, please do leave a review with a picture so everyone knows you're like a real customer. Thank you. Hope you all enjoyed this video. We'll talk to you again real soon.